the qualitative results, and as we've been talking, we did this by focus groups with the participants. So these are some of the quotes that were recorded on the focus groups from the NOT. And so this is actual participants reporting what they felt they learned on our prevention strategies. So I'll just go with my notes, and then if you want to add anything, or interrupt me, go right ahead. So I know we actually thought we were gonna write a book after this. So one of the things that when we were talking about the interventions that this program did offer, and as we already mentioned, what the model was between the clinical promotora and the community promotora and the strategies, participants, as we were drafting or we were doing the interventions, participants have access to a menu of resources and in the community that address many things, including some social determinants of health. So I think in the next case study that Cynthia's gonna present, she's gonna link to some of that of what I'm talking. But on this particular focus group, they asked the question about how have so the question was, how have they changed or modified their routines to reach or maintain a better health outcome based on their participation in the program. So participants were really saying not only did they learn new resources, not only were they able to tap into new resources, but like Martha just mentioned, access those resources, whether it was, I don't know how to get a driver's license, here is what you need to do, you first have to study. So making those connections through the participation of the programs. And so one of the things that I really caught our attention when we were discussing is how participants really took it home and applied, not only learn access, but also applied to make those modifications on their routines and make those changes to have a better health outcome, or at least learn how to manage. So from the menu of services, they had whether the CHWs were participating on relaxation techniques as they were doing the follow-up with them and telling them, do you want to do this? Can we practice this? Mindfulness, positive thinking, all of those were part of our approach to getting the participants to be more engaged and make some changes to their routines and to their manage of their conditions. And then just, I think the fact that they were able to access, so sometimes a referral when we work with the different communities and our organizations, we tell them so-and-so offers this, blah, blah, blah. But if they don't follow up with that, it's just a pass-through, right? But the fact that we saw people actually accessing those referrals, actually making those connections. One learned lesson for us is that in our specific program, our CHW was able to connect with other community organizations and access those support groups in there that were active referrals to them. I think that was important. I think another feature for our program was the goal setting that they did with the participants and see where they were. So I think the next slide, it just gives you the different prevention strategies that were mentioned. But go back, sorry. So can you go back on there? So one of the things we were questioning why they put this one, but on one of the comments for this one is that they didn't know that this clinic actually offered like a drop-by medication services for them. So for them, they didn't know, and the fact that now they were able to access that and utilize it and made it easier for them, because in our community, transportation maybe it's a big barrier for our community depending on where they reside. That was important for them. And then another person talking about the demonstration and the models that they took when they were doing the diabetes classes and how they were looking at, the soda and how much sugar that thing, just demonstrating that and having that engagement with our both clinic and community promotora and taking those workshops and making those demonstrations more hit home for them. And so like the role play that we had right now where we were talking about the tortillas, and that is very cultural to us. I don't think we have any meals without any tortillas unless we're making it a point to be in a diet. But other than that, it's like 3 meals tortillas. So I think those were the takeaway message that we got with this prevention strategies. And then if you move to the second one, that's where we have like the different subcategories. Am I forgetting anything?
No, ya hablaste todo.
So one of the things that we discussed once we were talking about this is that how
CHWs have been so instrumental in developing the intervention like Martha just presented. All the tools that she utilized to turn around the patient, the client's state of mind, how they came, they were crying all the time. So many of the cases that we were like reading, there were similar cases, very strong cases, and how CHWs use the prevention strategies that we have utilized through the program that we have been talking about, they really work. It really worked because they put the touch of the CHW, the emotion of the CHW, the braveness of the CHW to make them cry, to make sure that they understand that they're there to support them, not to make them feel bad, but at the end that she said, you make me mad, is really because you're getting to the person. And we
It's
can
like the process, they're processing it.
yes, and we
getting to
can
that point.
relate to that
Getting to
because
change.
that's the way that you work with participants. You make them understand, first of all, because, and we always talk about our participants that come and they're not ready for a change, and we understand when they're not ready, but we can also see the shift when they're starting to be ready, starting to realize that there's a problem, and then the CHW starts working on that. But the first step is this: CHW just listens. That's a strategy, just listening, being there present. So that's one of the things that we look through all the cases, and this is the other ones that we came up with. So,
And you know what, if I can just add, when we were preparing to launch the programs and models, I think just having the incorporation of the trainings that you provided for the promotoras to be prepared to what we may be exposed to, I think that kind of attributes to what the outcome of this has been, and the fact that I think promotoras, their job, but at the same time, I think we can see the results based on what the feedback was on their focus group, the fact that they remember a lot, and they were very specific in the notes as far as like from which side they were doing. This is a project for 3 different clinics. They were very specific as to what they learned from each of their connections of their CHW, from the clinical aspect to the